guys, me Steve. It's been a minute. Let's get right to the video. Today is a 2025-26 Chevy Suburban Tahoe Google built-in radio video. We have a gorgeous Lakeshore Blue High Country sitting right outside the door here. We're going to hop on in it, go over the buttons. Let's get to it. All right, so I am inside this Chevy High Country Tahoe. Let me get this thing up and running here. I am cold. It is a very cold day here in northern Michigan. Let's take a look. 21 degrees. So like I said, I'm going to break down mainly the Google built-in. I'll loosely go over the driver information center and different things here. But know that sometimes I get some of this wrong. But for the most part, sold enough Tahoes now that I feel really comfortable going over this with you guys. So let's jump into it. When I deliver a vehicle and I go over buttons now with a customer, I usually start here at the armrest and then work my way up. This armrest does move on certain Tahoes. This is a high country, so we've done a pretty good job of having all the options. This button up here allows you to move it. We go here, obviously cups, USB-C, USB-A, wireless charging pad. Know that if you put something here, weighted, it will show up right here as like something that's in the cell phone slot. So be aware of that. We have our HVAC system here now. You're gonna see a lot of buttons are stripped down because we've put a lot of the HVAC up here now. A little fan, big fan, front defog, rear defog, auto. We're gonna hold the temperature, which now temperature used to be right here, right? It used to have a little number. Now it's right there. We have done things a little different on this new Google built-in. We have a lot of quick access buttons up here. This is very similar to the Traverse. One of my favorite things in the Chevrolet lineup is on the Tahoe Suburban, and that is this little animation on the volume. God, I love that. And then we will just start going 2 pages. You still can hold the buttons down and move them around, but I always like to, when I'm with the customer, start with the second page, because that is where most of what they use in the day in, day out of their life. We have the ability now to record your vehicle. While there's no camera on the inside that I'm aware of other than this one right here, and I don't know if it records because I've yet to do this, but it does record on the outside. We are now living in a time where people like to have things recorded, and you do have the ability. You do need to have a compatible USB stick. Max 64, minimum 32, and I will tell you in the my interactions with service, SanDisk 32 gigabyte is the best way to go, and you would have that down there in your. I would go USB-C for speed wise. All right, let's try this again. The battery died. We were in the audios tab. Sorry, battery died on my phone, I mean. Also, that was worth saying, this little button I bump constantly, and that is how you turn the radio on and off. You tap once for mute, hold down, gets you the radio off. So just know that when you rest your hand, it's naturally to rest your hand here with the volume. You will bump it. As I was talking about earlier, this button, you see how you would switch back and forth between your Bluetooth, XM, AM, FM. Despite what a lot of people have said, and it does happen, right now currently on the 25-26 Tahoe, you still have Apple CarPlay. Android Auto obviously is a thing that you can use, especially with it Google based. But as I go back into the radio, as you toggle back and forth, you would think for XM that when you hit this hamburger button, that is how you could directly tune to something for like ESPN radio, for example. However, you look there, it's just genres of music. If we back out here, we hit the bump button, then we see the checkerboard down here. Then we hit that, then we can go 8-0, go. And then just like we have historically on most of our Chevrolet products, we hit that button, that's how we program it. This little settings gear icon gives you different options. You can manage your favorites, the type of sound, and that is kind of the basic in and outs of the radio. As we hop out of there, we can always hit the home button right here. We used to have a home button that is now gone, like down, like a analog button that is now gone, and it is up here. Maps. We're going to want to enable the maps once you initially start. Your salesperson should go that as they set up your OnStar and your My Rewards, the CSDS that you should be getting through your salesperson. But as I mentioned before in a TikTok I posted, the new Google system is super dynamic. You can zoom, you can stretch, and then just like Google Maps, you just would type in here. That's how it would pull it up. So it's very much like Google Maps. Just keep that in mind. The nice thing that happens now when we buy a Chevrolet vehicle, before, like if you bought a 2022 Tahoe, you would have to keep the OnStar subscription service for the navigation to be active. It is no longer the case. Now we get 8 years of this system working. Also 8 years of the Chevrolet key fob app. We back out of this, we hit the home button again. Phone, when you pair your cell phone up, I've been over this on a lot of vehicles, but you just hit add device, open the Bluetooth, and then allow that. Just know that you're going to have the opportunity for Android users to pair Android Auto, Apple users to pair Apple CarPlay. I've talked about this before. I won't get too much into the weeds, but just know that, at least with the Apple system, it kind of bullies it. It wants to be it. So if you do enable it, just know that it's going to always want to try to pair your Apple CarPlay up. Entertainment hub. This does have, the entertainment system back there. You could turn it on and off here as well as control it in the back. Left screen, right screen, obviously the settings, all the different things that you can do. One of the main things that I've noticed is you usually have to have a stick. It doesn't want to natively pair up a mirror and iPhone, so you got to have a stick or something to beam the iPhone. Android users, completely different experience. You can do that with the system back here since it's Google based. However, if you're an iPhone, you got to figure out some type of stick to put in there, and it kind of runs off the Wi-Fi system in the Chevrolet. So just keep that in mind. The controls button. I usually like to save the controls toward the end, but since we're here right now, notice that there's a quick access icon up here. But as we go here, you're going to see some of the buttons. There are a lot of more buttons here, but not like, especially like on the Equinox Reverse, we've removed some buttons, and there are some quick access safety things here. Camera icon here, auto park assist, rear automatic braking. You could turn that on and off. The one I always like to go over with most customers is this button right here, the see more controls in the controls and safety. And you're going to see here, this is where like doors, windows, child safety lock, you could control it there. Drive and park, auto park assist, some of the safety features are looking. Your universal home remote is tucked in here, and your auto power step assists controls are in here. You're going to find on like Equinox, we don't have, or Traverse, we don't have a light. So you're going to find the see more controls, as we've talked about before in our previous video. The light button is right there, but it's not in this situation for the Tahoe. We sway back to the main screen. Camera, which we talked about earlier, you can do the different views. Trailering, if you just remember that we can memorize different trailer profiles. So if you have a boat or a camper, we can memorize all that here. You can also buy tire sensors for the individual trailer that you're pulling that will tune into the system here. Auto park assist, climate. This is your HVAC system I mentioned here. It is now here in our Google built-in radio. Auto, sync, which is the left and right, AC. Know that this icon right here, the left one is the front, so that means we're controlling the front of the HVAC system. Now we're controlling the rear of it when we hit that button there. Little gear icon. All the different little options that you can turn on and off within the HVAC system. Heated seats, starting up, cooled, etc. You can turn it on and off. You can adjust the temperature here, the fan speed here, and then where it even comes out here. Right now, like I said, down here, I have it on the front defog, but if I wanted to do like feet and defog, that is how I would do that. But this windshield is pretty snowy still, so I'm gonna keep it on the front. Let me turn that back down. Like I said, we hit the home button to back out of there. Wi-Fi, you would set up when we hit the OnStar button right here. They would go over that. Your Google Play Store, your Google Assistant, and your Google News. Once you log into that Google system, if you want to use it, you can. It is a hands-free, voice-activated system that allows you to find information. Google Play Store lets you download apps. The Google system works on a Hey Google. See how that works. And then you could tell it to do something once you have your phone paired up or even like that. One of my favorite things with this, let me turn that off. Let's watch it do it, right? Hey Google, turn the temperature in the Tahoe to 80 degrees, please.
All right, changing the temperature to 80 degrees.
So you can do different things like that that allow you to keep our hands on the steering wheel. We don't want to be playing over here. We can do that. So it just allows us some functionality of wireless. We're keeping our hands on the steering wheel, not messing with the radio. MyChevrolet app, once you enroll and have your salesman do that, you're going to have some MyChevrolet opportunities, service visits. Let's get this. It might not work. It might not work properly because we are in demo mode. Yeah. Service, owner's manual, subscription plans. We go over here. A lot of this stuff is going to be in demo mode. I'm sorry, guys. Terms of agreement and notification. So yeah, software updates can be tied into here as well. So just that is there in the MyChevrolet app. And once you get logged in and you pair your Chevrolet app up, and you're going to want to make sure you do that. You get 2 points for every MSRP dollar. This is about a $90,000 Tahoe, 9 times 2, $1,880 that you could use for accessories, service visits, whatever you want to use on your Chevrolet. You can even save it for your next Chevy Tahoe. So just keep that in mind when you get your Chevrolet, download the MyChevrolet app. You should be getting an email from your salesman setting up, asking you to accept the terms and conditions that will lead you down to setting up the MyChevrolet app where you can unlock, lock your car, remote start it. You can even find it if you're in an area you're not familiar with, like a big parking lot, like an airport. Schedule your service visit. If something goes on with your vehicle, it'll push notification if you enable it to do that. So a lot of benefits to the MyChevrolet app. Let's go to this last tab, this vehicle status tab. And you're going to see we have an AI generated 3D version of your Tahoe. And you can see tire pressures there, air filter, different things. Know that all these corresponding icons are also available here into this menu here. And what I wanted to show you really quick is, let's say we hit trip, much like we've done this with the Equinox and Traverse Driver Information Center. Let's say we want to keep the trip information. We can push the button and it'll add it to the driver display. If you don't like it, it's like, hey, I'm just driving around town, we can hit remove right here. And it'll put it back to the way it was. So you can customize any of that. Let's say we ran over a nail in our tire. We're noticing that the light comes on. We want to keep an eye on the air pressure. We can go ahead and push it over there and we're able to monitor it right there. Kind of move it back. That is this vehicle status tab that is right here. And you can find a lot of useful information there. Really quick, we'll go over the driver information center here. You can see if we hit this button here, it pulls up the radio. We have the voice command, OK Google system right here. Sorry. Heated seats or heated steering wheel. Answer our phone right here by pressing up and down. Muting. This button right here, I always like to go over really quick. If we press it, it gives you different views, options for your Chevy Tahoe Suburban. Know that if you pair your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, one of the menu options will pop up here. Right now, I don't have it paired up, so this is a Super Cruise one. Know that right here, low gear, your Super Cruise button, cruise for collision alert, we can adjust the gap here. As we know, there's a camera up here. We can go over, I did a Tahoe walk around, so we kind of went over all that. And then your cruise buttons right here. And that, my friends, is the Chevy Tahoe Google built-in radio system. Let's head back in and wrap this up. So that is your Google built-in radio tutorial. I've had a lot of people rent cars comment on the videos that they've used that to help them get around. I find that super fulfilling. It has been a minute since I made a video. I'm actually filming 2 today, but the second video after I finish this one up, I'm going to finish the Vlogmas attempt that I did not do very well at. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video of the Tahoe Suburban. Let me know any changes below what you think Chevrolet should do to the Chevy Tahoe Suburban. Do you still feel that? I've heard wonderful things about the Expedition. Do you feel that the Chevy Tahoe Suburban is still the large SUV on the market? Should Chevrolet need to do more? I've heard, like I said, I've heard a lot of great things about the Expedition. Do we need to step up our game? Let me know below. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk to you on the next one.